This is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Monday. This is Game Day Live, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio virtual studios at a late hour. The last of the late hour podcasts. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Pucks and Pitchforks contributor, also covering the Chicago White Sox in his own bunker virtual studio somewhere in an undisclosed location in the Midwest, Vinnie Parise. Devils are taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. If I was a betting man, Vinnie, the Devils would go above 500 on this Western road trip.
I like that. I like that prediction a lot. I'm not sure I can stand by it because the one thing the Devils have never played is a desperate Vegas Golden Knights team. That team is not a lock to make the playoffs. That team has never missed the playoffs. They're not a lock to make it this year. I believe they are 3 points behind the Los Angeles Kings. It's funny. I have a fan-sided colleague who is a Kings fan, and he covers the Kings as well. And he sent me a message on Slack earlier today, and he goes, "Go Devils tonight." And I was like, "Oh yeah, the Kings are heavy Devils fans tonight." So there's pull around the league. This playoff race in the Western Conference is around the wild card teams. It's the Nashville Predators, Los Angeles Kings, Vegas Golden Knights, and Dallas Stars all kind of fighting for that spot. I guess there's two spots you can argue. And it's going to be interesting. The Devils have some influence on it. So the Kings fans, the Predators fans, they're all rooting for the Devils tonight, which is kind of funny. Like I said, the Devils have never played a desperate Golden Knights team, so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. We haven't really seen a desperate Golden Knights team much at all in the last 5 years of their existence. So it's going to be interesting to see what they look like tonight. I know Mark Stone is back. They have a tremendous lineup. Jack Eichel's starting to feel it again. So the Devils will either play spoiler or they will be a victim of a team that desperately needs to win.
Very, very, very interesting. For political reasons, I hope the Devils lose because of what the Kings did in 2012. So tell your friend to take that. I'm just kidding around. I'm just kidding around. Very interesting. And again, these are not games that should be wasted. This is experience for the young New Jersey Devils. You have an opportunity here to play a desperate team vying for a playoff spot, not in your conference, but on the other conference. I would expect a playoff atmosphere in Vegas, fan base that wants to see a win. I want to see the Devils withstand some of that pressure because they're a young team. Let's not waste any time here. This is not tankathon. This is not a time to regress. It's a time to grow and move forward. What's done is done this season. And if there's anything that could give the guys confidence now and going into next season to go above 500 on the 5-game road trip without Jack Hughes, without Siegenthaler, without half of the time Ryan Graves, and all the other injuries that have been plaguing the Devils, I take it because they're shorthanded on talent right now.
Yeah, they're shorthanded, and it's not like even when they're at full strength, they're the best team in the league, right? It's not like the injuries made them fall out of it. Like, they were already out of it anyway. And to go above 500 on this road trip, it would be against mostly good teams. I mean, the Colorado Avalanche, the Devils didn't get destroyed by them, which was nice to see. I mean, there's no moral victories in the National Hockey League by any means, but the Devils have beaten Colorado once and then lost to them by 2 goals another time, 3-1, I believe the final was. So you go out there and you play this amazing Golden Knights team tonight. It definitely is a tough challenge. I'm not going to sit here and act like the Devils have a great chance to win this game. They're definitely underdogs. They're definitely seen as the lesser team across the league, especially without Jack Hughes. But you know what? The outcome of the game isn't really necessarily the most important thing for the Devils. They don't care if they play spoiler for Vegas or not. They don't care about the Kings. They don't care about the Predators. They care about their roster and their players bringing to the table what we believe they can bring to the table. If the Devils lose, but I see good play from Heischer and Bratt, Sharangovich, even seeing someone like Dougie Hamilton go off would be kind of nice to see. He hasn't been awful, but he was good until his injury, and then he's been kind of subpar since then. But make me be excited for the draft and free agency and what's going to come next year. That doesn't even necessarily revolve around winning this particular game against the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to go into Vegas and see the Devils pull that off and try to play spoiler a little bit. The lottery balls are going to fall the way the lottery balls fall, so I'm not really thinking about that too much. Arizona is like head over heels above everybody else for last place in the NHL, and then you got the Flyers and Montreal and Seattle and Chicago in the mix with the Devils for that bottom, 5, area. And, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, but I would like to see the Devils at least put on an okay performance against the Golden Knights.
Yeah, and I was just giving you an opportunity, being as a rookie of the Let's Go Devils podcast network, you're in your rookie season, to go solo there. Sorry, I had a little bit of an allergy attack. The weather out here in Jersey went from 75 degrees, sunny skies yesterday on Easter Sunday with all the pollen to now 33 degrees outside. Fahrenheit.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir on that, Mr. Sam Wu. It was in the high 70s last week or low 70s last weekend. Then it was around the 50s and 40s all week this week. And then I wake up this morning and I look at my weather app right now and you see that white stuff falling out of the sky. That is called snow. It is snowing with 36 degrees right now here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So definitely with you on
your
that.
Sinuses,
your sinuses, your head, your emotions, just everything. And then guess what, Sam? It's supposed to be not only in the 70s on Saturday, it's supposed to be in the high 70s.
Wow.
I see 81. 81 is the high on Saturday. And then, some showers on Friday, some snow today. You get all 4 seasons in the spring here. So I sympathize with my fellow friends in New Jersey dealing with similar situations.
Yeah, I woke up the other day and it's like you've got all this pollen on the hood of your car. Like you could just scrape it off with your hand,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at my weather app as well. I have 60 degrees and 43 degrees cloudy skies out in Jersey. So I don't know what kind of weather you have, but more power to you if you could get in the 70s. But anyway, back to what's going on with the New Jersey Devils. And one of the things that I was kind of following, because there's not much news coming out from Devils camp, right? But that's why we follow our favorites on Twitter. It seems like they're having a great time. Whoever's covering the Devils, whether it's Danico or Erica Wachter or Amanda Stein or whoever, seems like they're having a good time on this West Coast trip. Seems like this West Coast trip has gone on forever. And, we've spent a lot of late nights here on the East Coast, but it seems like they're relaxed out there. The people that cover the team.
When you think about some of the destinations that they've had, we're talking Seattle, Vegas, Denver, Dallas. Those are some of the most fun cities in America. Yeah,
Arizona.
Speaking of weather, those are some of the premier places on the West Coast to go visit. I'm not acting like, Vegas and Dallas are like quality cities to go visit. And then everybody that I know that has gone to Seattle, I've gotten mixed reviews. Some people have loved it. Some people have hated it. I've never visited the Pacific Northwest yet. Seattle is probably a soon-to-be destination for me simply because of the Kraken. And the Mariners are good. So, I'll get up to Seattle soon enough. But, I'd be happy, too, if I went on a 5-city road trip of Seattle, Glendale, Denver, Dallas, and you cap it off. The last day of the trip is in Las Vegas. It's not like they started in Vegas and had to stay somewhat grounded because they have a long road trip ahead of them. No, you get to end with Vegas, and then you get to go back to your warm bed from Vegas. So all power to them.
One day when the Let's Go Devils podcast gets really big and we've got that private jet, we would go to Dallas, then Arizona, then Colorado, up to Seattle, and now in Vegas.
You know what, Sam? I know you guys get pretty nasty weather over there in New Jersey. You're a little bit closer to the Atlantic Ocean. I understand all that. The shore is not far. Like, I get it. But it is damn cold in Chicago for 7 months. I mean, I know what negative 20 feels like. Like, it is cold almost all year. I treat the summer months, and I love hockey. It's my favorite, and I love baseball. But as far as weather, this place sucks to live. So I would love if you can get me in this podcast to the type of places where in the middle of December, I could go to Sunrise, Florida, and Glendale, Arizona, and Los Angeles, and Anaheim. Sign me up. I only know cold, except it's even cold in like May here.
Yeah.
Like, it's chilly. It's not really until mid-June when baseball season's getting close to the halfway point that you're like, wow. And then when the White Sox finally make the playoffs for the first time, October, it starts to get chilly again. So you really only had like 2.5 months of like outstandingly warm weather. So,
if I'm not mistaken, I think 2020 was one of those oddest years unknown to mankind. But I believed it was snowing in June in New Jersey for about there was some kind of like snow squall. I think it was either May or June. I'd like to say June. And it was just like, I've never seen that ever in my life. But what better way to do it in 2020? 2020 had everything.
Yeah, it literally did have everything. And I remember the polar vortex, it came down and went through the Midwest and caused it to be like negative 50 pre-wind chill. It was just, it was crazy.
Well, and you are in the Windy City. But the one thing about Chicago I absolutely despise is O'Hare Airport. Because it's always that midway point where you transfer, flights. That's why I pretty much, like, in my mind, I always go for that direct flights first before I see how much it really costs. And just, it's like, who does the scheduling? It's like, okay, you're transferring, you got 45 minutes to go from one side of the airport to another, or 15 minutes or whatever, and it's like literally impossible unless you get one of those handicap, service type trolleys to get you through.
And that's probably why O'Hare sucks so much too, because people coming from New Jersey trying to get to California and vice versa, O'Hare is probably the biggest airport to make a stop at in the Midwest. It's bigger than Midway, which is downtown Chicago. O'Hare's, it's not too far from where I am right now. It's about 20 minutes away from where I am right now. And, that airport stinks too. Every airport kind of stinks, but O'Hare, it's right there with the big three over there in the metropolitan area, I would say. At least for this part of, the country. Yeah. O'Hare, not a good time.
Yeah.
It does have, I believe, though, no flight more to anywhere in the country than Newark from O'Hare. I believe that is the number one destination out of O'Hare Airport is Newark, New Jersey.
Doesn't surprise me. You know why?
Me neither. It's also the gateway to overseas.
Because people from Chicago knows where the best pizza's at.
Ooh, burn. We're going to talk pizza now? You want to talk pizza with me? I'll talk pizza. We can start a pizza podcast on the Let's Go Devils podcast. I discriminate against no pizza, though. You want to argue for New Haven? Go for it. You want to argue for New York? Go for it. Boston, Chicago, just don't come at me with St. Louis. You come at me with St. Louis, then we got problems.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just saw this on Twitter because I'm looking for Amanda Stein or any news. But this is totally random that former Cy Young winner Jake Arrieta plans to announce his retirement from baseball. Just wanted
Yep.
to
And you can read about that on thewindycity.com right now. It's already
see.
published and ready to go for your viewing pleasure via me.
Yeah. Also, there was a Gravy sighting in Vegas. Ryan Graves.
Something on his face, a little chocolate on his face.
Yeah. Let's see here. I don't know. It's you know what? It's such a lame duck part of the season, but at the same time, like this is probably the most important part of the season for the New Jersey Devils because if they suddenly lose 7 straight, or there's like one of those like freak injuries that will take 9 to 12 months to recover, or something happens. I just want them to just end the season all intact with some positivity and with a little bit of luck. Maybe they get in the top 3 of the draft. And, is it right? I don't know. Shane right, that is. I think a lot of us want defense, but we haven't seen Luke Hughes yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why they shut down Hughes, right? Like he probably, if it was the playoffs, he probably would return. Same thing with Siegenthaler. Miles Wood's different case because he had that surgery. Like maybe it was smart to get him in a couple games so he can have that conditioning level and get the feel for playing in some NHL games and then shut him down again. I actually thought the way they handled Miles Wood, outside of playing him on the first line a couple games, I thought they handled Miles Wood okay. He got in some games. He didn't miss the entire season. He was noticeable in the games he played. He wasn't scoring like we're used to Miles Wood scoring, but he was physical, bumping and bruising and doing. He's not afraid. Clearly, there's no being afraid of re-injuring himself. That's out of his. Like that's a mental hurdle to get over, I think, for some players, and it didn't seem to be an issue with him. You don't want someone like Heischer or Bratt to go down and have to spend the first couple months of their summer recovering from that before they hit the weight room. So get me to the draft. I had some people arguing in my mentions already the other day. I didn't even do anything other than tweet the Price is Right, and people were in my mentions telling me why Wright is overrated and they should draft this guy, and hopefully they come in second so they end with this guy instead because he's technically better. I haven't taken a deep dive as much quite yet. Got the NFL draft coming up, and then right after that, I'll be deep diving into hockey prospects for the Devils. But argue away in my mentions. I like reading it. I feel a little more informed thanks to the help of some other people. I'm not joining in on the argument because I don't have an opinion yet. But tell me what you think, and I'll listen to you.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting up to 9:30 Eastern right now, or should I say 8:30 Central. Predictions. What are your predictions? This is gonna be a tough.
I want the Devils. I want the Devils to win. It's going to be a tough one. Like I said, they've never played a desperate Vegas team. Few teams have. I think Vegas has to pull out the win tonight. Like I'll be stunned if the Devils win in a good way. I'm not rooting against the Devils. Like there are people that get to this point in the season when they're in last place or second to last place, depending on if Philly won or lost that night, where they like start actively rooting against the Devils. That's not me. That's not how my brain works. I understand that good things could come if they continue to lose, but I can't in my heart make a fist pump if William Karlsson scores a goal tonight. You know what I mean? But It is hard for me to see this desperate Vegas team losing to this injured and deflated, lame duck, to put in your words, Devils team. I'm going to go Vegas 5-2.
I'm going Devils 7-5.
I thought you were going to say 10-0.
Vegas is going to choke so badly, and it will send shockwaves in the Western Conference. Absolute shockwaves.
It absolutely would.
And the Devils would be above 500 on this Western 5-game trip, which a lot of us, including myself, actually I won't say a lot, but I didn't even think they were going to win a game this month. But they've shown that they've got some fight in them. They almost beat Seattle. Remember, Seattle's at home. It's a new place for the Devils. They've never been there before. All that kind of stuff. Plus, they got that punk skater, Matty Beniers, there. I don't know why I don't like the guy, but he didn't do anything wrong to me. But I don't know. I feel the need to cheer against him and boo him when he comes to the Rock.
You want Luke Hughes to end up being known as the best or second best prospect from that draft. So it's like you almost have like prospect syndrome. We're like, is he going to be better than Owen Power? I was reading Craig Button's thing about Owen Power being the number one prospect. I buy it. I think Owen Power is going to be a great player. But, hey, maybe Luke Hughes does end up being better. Maybe he does end up being the second best player. So we'll see what happens. But I understand the Benier's frustration. He scores his first goal against the Devils. It's like, of course he did. Because the Devils can't just lose. They have to add a little storyline to it as well.
Yeah. And also, I think the Devils got the best value out of Adam Larson when they drafted him. Because if you look at that trade tree going back to Taylor Hall, there's a lot of good players on the Devils right now because of it.
Yeah. They traded Adam Larson for a playoff berth, the greatest single season points per game wise in team history, Dawson Mercer, and
Siegenthaler.
And
if you want to also add in now, if believe it or not, it's the Hamburglar. You can add him to the tree because they traded Nate Shar away. All right, well, we'll be back. Devils After Dark after the game. Also, State of the Fan address on Wednesday. Remember about that. Also, Thursday, we'll be streaming live at Taj Lounge 973 because the Devils will be back home. And we finally get to see him at the Prudential Center. Vinnie, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck on your other podcasts because you're rolling through the day. I don't want to keep you hanging some more, but just want everyone to know we'll be back after the game. Devils After Dark. Scotty at SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and I recap the game that was. Till next time, let's go Devils.